The Lazarus effect.
Were we sufficiently thawed and ready to start this thing?
Oh, fuck this time of year. Jesus Christ.
Man.
It's really cold outside.
Yeah.
It's fucking cold. It's not bad in here now.
No, yeah.
Had the heat running for like 30 minutes.
That 30 minutes we're running the heat, finally it's tolerable enough to start this.
Now
Oh, man.
Now to remember what we saw, because it's been a half hour later since I sat through it.
And you know, I really wanted to like just hate this movie, but I didn't actually hate it.
No, me neither, honestly.
Like, it actually had some spookier, kind of creepier things to it that I think actually were kind of well done. I mean, it was only 80 minutes long.
Yeah, it's quick.
It's a really
quick movie.
It's a quick movie, and like, I don't know, other than just here's a bunch of creepy stuff on screen, I wasn't really sure what the point was. I mean, other than they don't play God or, you know, science.
Yeah. There's a
science rot sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so there was just a kind of that. Otherwise, it was take, you know, Olivia Wilde's big beautiful eyes and make her creepy.
You know, yeah. So. There's things I like about this movie. I do have issues with it, but at first you kind of think it's going to be a stupid jump scare movie because there's this dumb jump scare in the first 5 minutes of the movie, really I mean, there's more later, but not quite as cheap as that one at the beginning with him in the pig mask.
Yeah, you know, you're right. I was really worried. God, especially after Woman in Black 2. It was like,
it's not that bad.
Oh, good. More just random stupid jump scares. No, they're right. They do that one, but the other ones that show up are more or less kind of earned, but they're very sparing. Like, they really are sparing, which is like, I think the right way to use jump scares is use very few of them and actually earn them in certain ways. So more or less they did that.
There's a lot of movies that are like this that you could watch over this movie. Flatliners or Pet Sematary, The Reanimator. This movie even has elements of Lucy. The movie.
I was about to say that to you. I was going to, so what the hell is this, the origin for Lucy?
Yeah.
Because, they you know, I guess, like, their point was it's half... Maybe she went to hell and brought a demon back with her, and half maybe this serum made her unlock all of her brain, which was the Lucy thing, right? Yeah. So I was like, maybe she unlocked her whole brain.
Yeah, they talk about
serum.
the 10% of your brain thing, like Lucy, and she kind of does similar things that Lucy did.
She has the power to control things.
Yeah, but what I do like about this movie is I actually gave a shit about the people who were in it.
They kept a very small cast.
More
or less
got
kept
a good
contained.
cast.
They were really good. They each had, you know, their own kind of specific personality. They didn't just have little quick one-liner type things, you know. Yeah, they were actually, they did a pretty good job.
It's a collection of actually pretty likable characters. Like, I was invested in their story. When Olivia Wilde dies from the electric shock, that was genuinely sad because you set up this relationship between her and Mark Duplass. Both of them really good in the movie. Both of them have chemistry. The supporting cast with Donald Glover and Evan Peters they're funny. They're good in the movie. It gives you characters that you actually give a fuck about.
And that's because so many times you don't see that.
No,
you just here's a bunch of cutout archetypes.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, watch them die. You know,
exactly. And in this day and age, I guess a movie like this that has likable characters in it, that actually, like, all right, I'll give it that. I'll at least give it that. I don't see that very often in something like this, which is sad.
Right.
Which is really fucking sad. This movie has a lot of really good ideas that I think belong in a much smarter movie than this is.
Yeah, like, see, that's right. You see, in the same way, that was my idea, but said in a much smarter way. I don't think I could have articulated that well. That's exactly right. Because it's this idea of the serum, you know, re-stimulating and reanimating the body, basically. But it works too well, and it overstimulates the brain. And then they, you know, overstimulate the neural activity, which causes super aggression and apparently, you know, magic powers.
Magic powers.
Right.
Evil dog.
Very evil dog. Which I guess she kills.
Yeah, I guess she could. Oh, that's another thing about this. Like, yeah, it is hampered by the fact that they've released it with a PG-13.
Yeah.
Because at one point you have black blood that's seeping through the cabinets.
Like Caro, somebody spilled all the Caro syrup out of that.
It's leaking bubbling crude. They struck oil. They're fucking rich.
That's the movie.
Yeah.
It was the origin for the Beverly Hillbillies.
Boy, did that episode jump the shark. Ellie Mae electrocutes herself. They fucking bring her back with like a fork and a light socket.
That was season 2? I don't know.
Wait, it jumped the shark quick.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, God, no.
And when she crushes Mark Duplass's head later on, it's a quick cutaway. Like, okay, that's probably going to be grosser on the DVD.
Right, yeah. Of course, you see his head later and he's fine.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Yeah. The movie's not... There's some editing choices in this movie that are weird.
Yeah.
Like, you noticed that they kept using the same stock exterior shot.
There's the university wherever they are, and like the very opening shot is this kind of little tracking shot of out front. And I noticed 2 very awkward extras standing there very awkwardly talking to each other because they were told by an AD to stand there and pretend like they're talking to each other. And so I just being on set and knowing how to move background actors and tell them you're talking to you, pretend like you're, I found that funny. So it's like, I noticed that. And then it's supposed to be several days later, it's the same shot. Yeah. With the same 2 people awkwardly standing.
I was looking for it once you mentioned that. I was looking for it every time they came back to it. There's a couple shots later where they mirror the shot.
Yeah.
I noticed that later on because of the markings on one of the girls in the movie. I was like, this shot is in reverse.
Yep. Because they probably crossed the 180 line, crossed the line of action while they were shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And then they realized, oh shit, she was supposed to be looking left to right instead of right to left.
So I've had to do that.
We do it. We all do that.
We all do that a couple of times.
That's not a strike against them. That happens all the damn time.
Oh, yeah. So I did notice that in a couple of shots, but I would love for this movie to be way more ambitious than it is. I'm not saying that it's... I mean, they did well with what they had. There are creepy moments in it. When the dog gets let loose, that's kind of creepy. There's the stuff with hell, that's kind of creepy. And I would love it if a movie like this had somebody like a William Friedkin behind it, or a Roman Polanski, or somebody like that. Like late 80s, early 90s Joel Schumacher, that I would dig that. I would think it would be a much longer movie. It would be push about 2 hours, but that's fine. I think I would love it if this movie was more like something like tonally, and in terms of build up, more like something like The Exorcist or The Omen, or a movie like that. I think it would really work because there are a lot of they put forth a lot of really good ideas in the film.
Well, and they like I was saying, they lightly touch on the idea of what is this? Is this a hallucination in her brain before death, or is is she actually in hell?
And that's a good scene.
It's a great scene, and I think that's one of those great things they could have explored more.
A lot more.
Like, is she actually just basically been given supernatural powers from the serum?
Yeah.
Or is she actually some type of spawn of hell? I mean, let's actually explore that. That's
actually make a relatively provocative film instead of what is effectively a bottle movie.
Oh, totally, yeah. This was a cheap movie to make.
Yeah.
This is one of those. This is a script. From just from a little development background, when you do coverage on a script, things you mark on is budget. Well, the budget on this one was low. I mean, like medium. Medium might have been just getting Olivia Wilde. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A low budget film because it all takes place relatively in a closed set.
Yeah.
That's one sound stage, one little set of things you build for the little laboratory. Just 5 main actors.
Yeah.
With a couple of little supporting actors that pop up here and there. That comes across a development producer's desk, and he goes, "Woohoo!" That's it. This is a cheap movie to make.
Yeah.
It's a decent enough idea. Let's just make it.
Yeah.
So but you're right in that. if they would have done more with it, had they have gone, okay, now that we're going to make this, let's do some more rewrites on it and see if we can actually really touch on something more, because we've got some creepy moments, we've got some cool things, some cool sequences, but let's try to get a little bit more meat in there to really make it a much more provocative, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we started out this review by saying, can we remember what we just watched? Because it's been 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, we're like, God, what did we just watch? You know?
And it's not a bad film. Like, the really provocative stuff about it, or just kind of just a scene. Like, there's a part where they're talking about how she spent 3 years in hell before she came back, and that's really not touched on again.
No,
later.
that's a great thing. That's a great wow. Wait, what? You know, her perception of time in the 2 minutes or however long it was before they brought her back.
Yeah,
it felt to her. I mean, again, like, was she in hell, or was this just, you know, a hallucination?
And she's able
to get into that.
Pull another girl into her hell.
Yeah.
And the talks that they have in the movie about science versus religion, and then when they're debating whether or not to even bring her back when she dies, which, I mean, I'm sitting there like, I don't see the debate here. If I'm in, okay, taking aside what happens after this, but if I'm in a situation like that and, like, my fiance fucking dies and I have a serum in my hand that can do that, yeah, you know, I'm gonna fucking try that.
Probably. That's kind of the whole point of doing that.
Yeah, like, we can't do it, man, we can't do it.
It's like the first people who have ever built a car, they're like, well, we've built the car, now we need to get somewhere quickly, but, you know, we don't want to use the car. I don't know, it's a terrible analogy.
I didn't see the debate there, really, honestly, because it's like, she's already dead.
Because the dog came back and the dog was super aggressive.
Yeah.
So that was their point, was
Could have just been a bad dog.
A bad dog. Maybe the dog had supernatural powers before they put him down. Maybe that's why they put him down.
Yes.
They didn't read the tag, supernatural powers do not resuscitate.
There's some weird editing in this too. Like, when the dog gets loose, there was really that's kind of an intense scene, except it really has no resolve. Meaning, like, suddenly Evan Peters is staring the dog down.
Right.
And then it just cuts to the next scene.
It cuts to them later going, that dog needs to be put down.
What happened? How did he lead the dog back into the cage?
Right.
How did this end?
So the dog, who he just taunted by, like, blowing smoke in its face in the cage, somehow blasted its way out of the cage and, like, destroyed the kitchen within, like, 2 seconds, and then magically popped on top of the table, growling at him, and then, I guess it cuts before he goes, down.
Yeah.
And then the dog goes, I'm sorry, and gets down and goes back in the cage. Down, evil dog.
And my problem here is that it has all of this setup for what could be a pretty cool, thoroughly, from beginning to end, interesting, provocative horror film, but ditches all of that to, in the last half hour, become a slasher film.
Oh, totally, yeah. Just, there's no creepiness. I mean, there is a little bit, but at the same time, it was just, she's just gonna kill everybody.
She goes from zero to evil in minutes.
Right, yeah, she goes from being this very thoughtful, like, what are we doing, type of scientist of, are we doing the right thing? She wears a cross and she's, Catholic and is worried about the afterlife and what will people think, to just suddenly, I'm gonna be evil now.
And now she's evil. Unless I missed something, why is she, other than they want to turn it into a slasher film, they don't really say why she's suddenly so evil, other than it's a horror film.
Well, I mean, there's that, yes, it's the horror film, but it's also like I think that, and again, they don't touch on this. Enough. They lightly touch on it, but it's she thinks she went to hell. And because she thinks she went to hell, she's thinking, I did one bad thing as a kid, and now, no matter what, I ended up in hell. And that's it. That's enough reason for her to go, yep, evil. I'm evil now.
Crush people in cabinets, and admittedly, it's not the worst slasher movie I've seen in recent years. Like, I mean, I never saw someone get killed with an e-cig before in a movie.
That's true, yeah.
Like, right.
And they say they're not deadly.
Yeah.
Say it's all propaganda.
There is that. Like, I didn't saw that before. All right.
It was new. It was definitely new.
Crushed by the Cabinets. That was better in Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. It's way better in that movie.
I will take your word for that.
Well, they didn't have to worry about covering up the blood with a PG-13. The blood is actually red in that movie.
Oh, there you go. Good.
But it just suddenly goes from she is back from the dead to she's talking about being in hell, and that's creepy. But there's no real build up to her becoming evil. She just becomes evil.
She does. She she has the ability to hear everybody's thoughts.
Yeah.
And she hears that they're all terrified. And she's like, instead of like, oh wow, these friends are terrified, I need to try to prove to them that I'm okay and that I'm not. She goes, yeah, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna be evil. I'm just gonna murder everybody. Yeah.
Just to do a lot of shots of her with creepy eyes, creepy smile.
Right. Yeah.
Like she says like a stupid like one-liner at one point. Like, God damn it, this movie is frustrating because it's not bad.
Right.
But it could be so much fucking better than it is.
Yeah.
Like it didn't have to resort to just becoming a silly slasher movie in the last 30 minutes of it.
It's like they just realized, as they got to that last, part of the script, because it's only 80 minutes long.
It's an 80-minute movie.
I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
Paranoia was longer.
Yeah.
Our movie was longer. Our crappy, psychological thriller was longer.
That had to do with hell and an endless loop.
Right, yeah. We were able to pad it out to make it longer.
Yeah.
Shots of driving. It's how we missed
Oh, yeah. That was their problem. It's a bottle movie. They don't have enough driving.
That's right. They don't have any endless shots of you driving. Yeah. But no, so... Yeah, it just kind of, I'll be evil now. Goes from, oh no, I'm thoughtful and, I care about this and I really want, I'm worried about hell, and to, well, I was dead and I was in hell, so instead of now suddenly trying to repent and realizing that I need to change my ways, I'm like, nah, I'm just going to own this hell thing. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, it just seems so cheap. Because you've set up this character who's pretty likable, has good chemistry with Mark Duplass, is a three-dimensional character. Her and Mark Duplass both are.
Yeah.
And then just to turn this character into this black-eyed stereotype of like an evil girl in a movie. But
like the whole like her trauma in her past is she was playing with matches as a little girl, set her apartment building on fire, and killed her neighbors. Right? So that's the thing she's trying to repent for or whatever. But it makes it look like she was glad she did it or something. Like it was like,
that was confusing.
I'm owning this, that I was the murderer of these people. And instead of in any way being like, I mean, there was no conflict in her anymore. She did. She just, I'm evil. And that was the worst part, because she went from being like, because if there was like, no, I will fight this evil, but I can't fight it, but I will fight it, but I can't fight it, that could have been some type of character drama with her. As she's murdering these people, it's like, no, they're my friends, I can't murder them, but no, I am evil. But no, it's not, just, I'm evil.
And
they bought the black contacts, they're using them every day.
Yeah. And dealing with like past crossing over and then dealing with past trauma and bringing past trauma back with you. Something that was done way better in Flatliners than this movie does.
Right.
Like, a lot creepier in that movie. It doesn't resort to what this movie did, just kind of becoming like a stock slasher film at the end of the day. I mean, this is the kind of movie that this movie is not going to make my worst list. It's not a bad movie.
Right. It's forgettable. I mean, really, it's a forgettable film. Like, I mean,
it's odd because it's not that I had any high hopes for it getting in, but leaving it, I'm oddly disappointed. Not that I wanted it to be bad. I just mean now seeing the movie and knowing what it probably could have been. Is disappointing.
Well, another piece of this is weird is that I had low expectations for it too.
Yeah.
Because the trailer shows basically the third act of the film.
Yeah.
Hell,
the poster is her on fire.
The trailer's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie was leading to the trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like they could have made it, instead of being like, this is exactly what the trailer is she just kills people, because that's what it was. It could have been she's killing people, but here's the here's the conflict and here's the thing and there's the development. But no, it's just she just kills people.
this is the kind of movie, given its length, 80 minutes long, it's the kind of movie that, like, will probably work perfectly if it's late at night and you're just flipping through Netflix and maybe you want to watch something for about 80 minutes and you're in the mood for a horror movie.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, why not?
Because some of the creepy stuff was pretty good. You know? I mean,
I couldn't recommend seeing this in theaters.
Nah, there was nothing to be. You know what I heard one of the guys say? Like, there's like those like 4 people behind us.
Was that?
One of them was we were leaving as we were walking out, and nobody laughed, so I don't know if he was saying it sarcastically. But he says that movie would have been way better in 3D. And I about turned around and said, "Excuse me, sir." Shut up! Nothing.
Wow. It would have been better in 3D.
Would have been better in 3D.
Oh my god. If it was shot in 3D and done by the guys who did Drive Angry, maybe. Yeah, then there would be that. That's some of the best 3D I've ever seen.
But no, a horror movie in 3D, you like that? No. No, sir. No.
Yeah, no, it would have looked cheap. It probably would have looked pretty bad.
Well, they would have sought for some gimmicky crap. Which, you know, the type of stuff. Which
is fine if it's a campy movie. No, like, this
wasn't meant to be campy.
No.
It felt like it was meant to be kind of a horror psychological type thing. But then they just dropped it. They just dropped all that. And you're right. And said, let's just turn it into a slasher film.
Yeah, that would have been weird if this movie was in 3D.
Oh, it's stupid. I couldn't tell. I mean, nobody laughed. Because first of all, it wasn't funny. But I mean,
is this the same guy who, after the trailer for the Nick Sparks movie, was like, "Looks tight" or something like that? Did you hear that?
I did hear that. Yeah, I think it was the same guy. So
looks tight.
Looks tight, bro. It's tight. Nicholas Sparks, yo.
Alan Alda.
Alan Alda. Hell yeah.
God.
It's Alan Alda, bro.
Oh my god. We got the trailer for that in front of Focus earlier, and Dave looks at me slowly and just goes, "Brian and I are not looking forward to that." Dave, how did you know I was going to ask the two of you to go see that? Come on, man. Just because you went to go see the last Nick Sparks movie.
God. That just looks like the... Again, like, you know, I was telling you that it was in the last review.
Yeah.
That one was, you know, I turned my head for 2 seconds and turn around, and it's a totally different movie.
Yeah.
But it's still the same damn trailer.
Yeah. I got in the middle of that trailer with Dave earlier, and I'm like, what is happening?
Right, yeah.
I have no idea what is happening here.
It looks really just needlessly complicated, and Hawkeye's really let himself go. So
yeah, we got some of the horror. I'm actually really shocked we didn't get the Skype horror movie.
There's a Skype horror movie?
Yeah, Unfriended, where it's all Skype.
Oh boy.
Man, that one I probably will be. We
got Insidious 3.
Yeah, we got Insidious 3. I love the first one. Did not like the second one.
Well,
so I'm not looking forward to the third one.
Oh, God, what else did we get? Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Oh, yeah. Avengers.
And
Chappie, which I didn't know until now that Chappie's rated R. That's cool.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I am super looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to Chappie.
I really am looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, man. Gritty reboot Short Circuit.
I know!
Fuck yeah.
Yeah!
Of course, you could argue that Short Circuit 2 is the gritty reboot of Short Circuit.
Yeah, this might be
chopped him up with an axe. Oh my god!
It's true, he did, and he bled out. You know.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, he did.
Oh god, I think I'm pretty sure I screamed "Holy shit" when I saw that in the theater with my dad. Holy shit! Well, I remember when we were explaining that scene to Sarah before we did the Brad Makes Sarah Cry video where she does that. She didn't believe it. It was me and our friend Aaron talking, and we were bringing up Short Circuit 2 because we fucking love Short Circuit 2.
Of course, yeah.
And she overheard us talking about the death scene or the beating scene from Short Circuit 2, which is just one of the most fucking disturbing goddamn scenes ever in a movie. I'm sorry, there's not a sequence in Cannibal Holocaust that is more disturbing than that scene.
Because Johnny Five is screaming and they're cutting it up with an axe.
Hey, he's bleeding! And we're like, and Sarah didn't believe us. She was like, I'm like, no, it's true. Like, He hits him like with a fucking thing, and blood flies all over the other guy. And Sarah's like, nuh-uh. I'm like, we're watching this shit tonight. We're gonna film this and call it Brad Makes Sarah Cry.
Yeah.
We shot that video, and the rest of us had to go in the other room. One, because it would have been distracting with Sarah watching, like if we were sitting there and get her reactions. And two, we just wanted to hide from that scene.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, from my childhood watching, because loving that movie.
I love
seeing
Short
it so many
Circuit,
times.
too.
It was. God, it's so disturbing. Oh, it's like I blocked it out from my childhood, and now I'm reliving it.
Oscar, myself, you will not get away. I am really pissed off.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, watch Short Circuit 2 instead of Lazarus Effect.
Yeah, do that. Watch that. Watch Short Circuit 2.
Yeah. That's a good movie.
That's a good movie, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have any final thoughts. It'd just be me repeating what I said earlier.
Just a meh.
Yeah. It's...
no expectations. Started watching it, thought, hey, maybe they could turn this into something really cool. Okay, there's only like 10 minutes of this left. They better make something cool out of this. Nope, nothing cool came out.
Yeah, not really.
That was the movie.
It's a lot of interesting setup for just some cheap shit.
Yeah.
That's it, really. It's not, in terms of horror movies that come out in the first part of the year, it's probably great.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, compared to
the other movies that come out like this. Yeah, this
Woman
is like
in Black 2.
Oh,
and
fuck. Hated that movie.
Fucking what the fuck else? I know I'm probably fucking forgetting something. There's some shitty movies. It's better than The Loft. I saw that. Oh. It's better than Hot Tub Time Machine 2. Better than those movies.
Better than The Duff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That was bad in a different way. I don't know. I don't know. They're both so low. I guess. Yeah.
Well, next week is Chappie. Next week, the Vince Vaughn movie, is it Unfinished Business?
Oh, yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And the second best exotic Marigold Hotel.
Ooh.
I'll ask Brian about that one. Dave and I were talking about this at the end of the Focus video. Brian said, everyone send Brian your love over on Facebook. He had his appendix out.
That's right, yes.
So send him some love on Facebook, but we got to ease him back into things with a Maggie Grace, Judi Dench old people movie.
I think that's a good way. It's like soft food. You got to eat soft food first.
It is. He is
easy to digest.
I'm a pretty laid back person, and Brian's even more laid back than I am. When I did not know he had his appendix out until I texted him earlier this week and was like, you want to go see a movie on Thursday? And he's like, writes back, I'm gonna have to let you know I had appendicitis. Removing my appendix. I'm gonna be in the hospital for a couple of days. Like I should have written back and been like, well, all right, just let me know when you can.
I posted on his because he posted like a thing saying, hey, I'm going to get my appendix taken out.
Yeah.
Everybody was sending him love, and I sent him. I said, well, this is a long way to go to getting out of seeing the Lazarus.
I'll bring him a bootleg of it.
There you go.
He'll love it. See you next week.